Hey everybody. In all living things, there is a supporting system of prokaryotes and other microbes that are feeding off of the carbon that these systems provide. And they're also providing for the maintenance and the health of these systems by providing all the little things that they need that they get in exchange for the carbon. And one of the things that Albert Howard talks about is the law of returns, where the things that are produced on the top of the soil need to go back to feed what was taken out from the bottom of the soil, from the decay cycle. So whenever a plant is growing and taking all this wonderful carbon and putting it in the soil is actually supporting the plant in such a way that it's depleting its natural resources with the expectation that when this plant dies, all of that stored carbon will get returned. And so it's willing to go negative in the producing of the plant, knowing that later on it's going to get this wonderful harvest of the actual plant itself when it dies. And so there's this tremendous aggregate the accumulation of organic matter through this process, because the tree, of course, is where the plant is bringing in all this carbon, and then most of it is going to get accumulated onto the soil when the plant dies. A lot of it's going to get taken off and into the atmosphere, but much of it will be biologically processed by the soil and return into organic matter in the soil, which will later be fed into another plant. And this whole thing will accumulate more and more because there's no place for the carbon to go. What little is escaping is fine, that's okay, because most of it is getting returned to the soil, which is accumulating. Now, what we do when we harvest a plant, we take that plant out. And just to show you, I would love to leave my okra plants on my soil to decay and rot, but I don't have time for that. So over here, you can see, this is my okra plants. That's how much carbon I took out of my garden. I harvested the whole thing. I left the roots in, of course, because they aren't harming anything, but I had to take the bulk of it out because there's just too much mass. I'm trying to grow other things in that space. So all that carbon came out. I have to replace that with well-made humus. If I had a more regenerative cycle, if I had more time, if I had more land, I would go through crop cycles where I would leave the crop to decay on the land, and that would create a carbon return. Or I could use animals for this process as well. But because I'm doing an active rotational garden, I have to take the plant off. I need that space. So that's why I have to add a bunch of humus, because my organic matter is too depleting the way I garden. Now, when I add the organic matter, I reverse that whole process because I can physically add tons and tons of organic matter right onto the soil that the microbes will feed off and use to produce more plants. And this is a wonderful way of doing it because you are manually entering the organic matter. Anyway, I just want to give a little video about Albert Howard's law of returns, that what you take out, you need to put in so that you're not depleting the soil and creating what he would call soil banditry. You need to be good to your soil and put in more than you take out. Anyway, thanks, y'all.